Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live Talk of the Crown weekly chat. I hope you've all had a voluptuous and amazing royal week. I know it has certainly been a busy week. So hello and welcome. Thank you for taking the time out in your busy lives to join me on Saturday night at 10 o'clock, as always, live. So the format, for those of you who don't know, if you are new to these live chats, it's all led by you guys. And I have a fantastic team of moderators who will be in the chat tonight, making sure that I don't answer the same question twice. So if your message does get removed, it's probably because it's either something I've already spoken about or it's just to move the chat on. So don't take it personally. Right. I'm going to go straight to the chat room and say hello to everyone. So hello. There seems to be lots of people already waiting. So I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. Mary Brunn says, finally made it at the beginning. You have indeed. Scott Goff says, looking extremely dapper this evening. Thank you so much. I've had a hello from Canada and Texas. Tell us about your kit, says Biz Burgess. Well, it's actually the outfit I wore for my Halloween costume. Why not? So we have some nice ruffled sleeves, which I think are very Georgian. It's a very Georgian inspired look today. We have the cravat, which I've kind of tied a bit like a scarf. And we have the Prince Albert brooch that he gave Queen Victoria with the big Ceylon sapphire surrounded by diamonds. Not real, I might add. And we have my own Nan's pearls, my grandmother's pearls, a pearl brooch with a set of single strand pearls, which I've used as a brooch accessory. We also have the replica Cambridge Lovers Knot tiara, which, as you can see, is a really good replica of the Cambridge Lovers Knot with dangly drop pearls, secured by elastic, the same style as Princess Eugenie for her wedding. There we go. I love wearing this tiara. It is amazing. Christine says, my favourite brooch. And hello to elect Lady Gloria Willingham. That's a mouthful. Who is in Georgia. Barbara says, love my part 2. Of course, yes, I finally got around to posting my Blitz Hill Victorian Town vlogs. I split it into 2 parts. If you haven't seen them, obviously start with part 1. They are obviously on my channel. They do have their own playlist, so you can catch up and comment and watch at leisure. Camille F says, ravishing in dangling drop pearls. Why, thank you. Candice says, I love that tiara. HM the King says, wow, thank you. Are you wearing the pearls or the tiara? I don't know. So yes, it's been an incredibly busy royal week, as always. Oh, by the way, I want to start with the Queen, because obviously Monday is Commonwealth Day, and all of the royals will be out for the Commonwealth Day service. If you remember last year, it was the first time that Meghan Markle, as she was then, before she was married to Harry, attended with the British royal family. So it was quite a momentous occasion because obviously they didn't wait until she was married. They got her in there pretty quick. So the Queen has actually released a Commonwealth Day message ahead of Commonwealth Day. So I'd like to actually start with that today. So this was published on the 8th of March 2019. Now, it is actually written by Her Majesty the Queen, and it says, Commonwealth Day has a special significance this year, as we... Or shall I do it in the Queen's voice? I like doing my Queen's voice. Comment if you want me to do it in the Queen's voice. I'll have a look. Rita Brolly says, is that an ascot? I have no idea what it is. I've just tied it around my neck. I couldn't tie it like a cravat, so I did it like a scarf. We don't know yet how the Queen bruised her hands, but it probably looks more likely to be a horse riding incident. Mrs. BSN says, busy, and a busier one ahead. Will there be a church service on Monday? Yes, the Commonwealth Day church service will be going ahead. Okay, people saying yes to the Queen's voice. I do like doing the Queen's voice. Jamie thinks it's a tablecloth. It could very well be. Okay, I'll do it in the Queen's voice. Okay. I've got to get in. My husband, okay, I've got to get in the mood for it. So I always start by getting in the Queen's voice by saying, my husband and I. You've got to get that sort of tone in your voice before you'll start doing the Queen. Okay. Commonwealth Day has a special significance this year, as we mark the 70th anniversary of the London Declaration, when nations of the Commonwealth agreed to move forward together as free and equal members. The vision and sense of connection that inspired the signatories has stood the test of time, and the Commonwealth continues to grow, adapting to address contemporary needs. Today, many millions of people around the world are drawn together because of the collective values shared by the Commonwealth. In April last year, I welcomed the leaders of our 53 nations to Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, and we all witnessed how the Commonwealth vision offers hope and inspires us to find ways of protecting our planet and our people. We are able to look to the future with greater confidence and optimism as a result of the links that we share, and thanks to the networks of cooperation and mutual support to which we contribute, and on which we draw, with enduring commitment through times of great change. Successive generations have demonstrated that whilst the goodwill for which the Commonwealth is renowned may be intangible, its impact is very real. We experience this as people of all backgrounds continue to find new ways of expressing through action the value of belonging in a connected Commonwealth. I hope and trust that many more will commit to doing so this Commonwealth Day. There we go. I was channeling the Queen. These sweets sound so good. No, the Queen didn't go blah, 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 in the middle of her speech. Can you imagine if during the Christmas Day address she went blah, 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 blah. That would be quite funny. Okay. I know it says Ghana has been in the Commonwealth for 62 years. Joanne says, awesome job. I could be a sound like Your Majesty, I could do the Commonwealth address, the radio version. They wouldn't know. Although, of course, we have a conspiracy theory that Michael D. Higgins is actually stepping in for the Queen and nobody knows. He's just put on a wig and no one actually knows it's him. So, shh. Which is why we have the Irish flag behind. Biz Burgess says, can you do the voice of the lady in the squatter's cottage? That is my local accent, actually. I don't sound like that because I made myself not sound like that. But hey, that is my local accent. So I understood her perfectly. Jojo says, my cravat is massive. It's almost well, it's because I don't know how to tie it. So I've just tied it loosely like a scarf and then pinned it with a brooch. Okay. Jamie says, people want to know who Michael D. Higgins. He's the president of Ireland. Do you not know? He looks a bit like a leprechaun. He's about the same height as the Queen, the same colour hair. He could literally be a stand-in for the Queen if he wore a wig. I have a theory that it is actually Michael D. Higgins stepping in for the Queen, and the Queen is actually on holiday in Balmoral. Rita Brolly says, I met someone today from Ghana, which is a Commonwealth nation. She loves the royal family. Maria says, do you think the Queen will name King Harry? What? Do you think the Queen will name King to Harry? No! There is an order. It will go to Charles and then William and then George. Unless there is a catastrophic incident in between. Vinton says the pitch and cadence was spot on, just a deeper tone. I can go higher, you know. One can go higher, you know. Where is my partner today? At work, of course. Martin Gahan says Daily Mail is saying Meghan's assistant private secretary Amy Pickrell is leaving. She is indeed, and she's on my list. She's on my list of things to say because I knew that there would be a big royal stink about it. So let me see. Amy Pickerel is moving abroad. Okay, so big royal news. Royal aid moves abroad. Yes. There is no bad news here. Much has been made of, I think it's the third member of staff in, 3 months or something that's left. Well, this particular one, Amy Pickerel, was taken on with the understanding that it was actually going to be temporary. Meghan does really like Amy, and I think Meghan would like Amy to stay on. However, Meghan always knew that it was going to be short term. So Amy Pickerel is actually moving abroad. There has been no falling out. There is no drama. There is no shade to cast. There is no tea to spill. She's just moving abroad. Therefore, she cannot continue her role with Meghan. No big drama. However, she has agreed to stay on until after baby Sussex is born. So that's a good sign, at least. You know, she's not just abandoning. This is a planned leave. It was only a temporary role to begin with, even if Meghan would have liked it to have been permanent. For Amy, it was always going to be temporary. Amy has agreed to stay on to assist until after baby Sussex is born, and her role was primarily just to help Meghan adjust to life within the royal family. And then it was always planned that she was going to move on. So there is no drama. I'm sorry, there is no tea to spill. It is what it is. It's just natural wastage, somebody moving on. And good luck to her. Did I get to use my new drive? No. Do you know what? I have been so busy this week and I still haven't got batteries. But I am definitely going to. Of course I'm going to. It's something that I really, really need to get to grips with. I need to learn how to do it. Pieter Clark says, we'll miss Amy. Apparently the Queen and Prince Philip offered her another job, but she's going overseas. Yes, she's just moving on. She's going overseas, start a new life, and good luck to her. Mike says he's your partner on night. He's always been on nights for 15, 16 years. Book Princess says Meghan is a fantastic choice, but why doesn't Catherine get such an important role? Well, I think Catherine is going to get an incredibly important role, which will be as Queen Consort of the country, therefore married to the head of the Commonwealth, if of course the Commonwealth does accept William as the following head of the Commonwealth after Charles. So I think Catherine will have enough on her plate. But I think it's really good that that the roles have been cemented for Harry and Meghan within the Commonwealth, with Meghan, of course, being made the Vice President. Diane wants to nominate me to replace Amy. Of course I would. Meghan, if you're watching, as long as you don't make me eat that horrible, vile avocado toast stuff that you made, as long as you make me the banana cake, okay, I will assist you if you keep me topped up with tea and your lovely banana cake that you made on the I think it was banana cake on the Australia tour. That looked lovely. The avocado toast is not really doing it for me, I'm afraid. But banana cake and tea, you've got me. Sanity says some of those departures are because of the new distance to working in Windsor. I mean, I don't think Amy would leave the country because they've moved to Windsor, but certainly perhaps some of the others may have been. Again, we haven't really found out the true reasons why they've left, but I don't think it's anything to do with Meghan's being difficult to work with or anything like that. So I'm fiddling with my cravat. This is going to be a problem all night, I can just see. Okay. Mrs. BSN says, the Duke of York and Princess Royal had staff changes in February and nothing said. It happens. There are staff changes all the time. There are comings, there are goings. One of the things that's really annoying me right now is this kind of nitpicking over every tiny, small, little detail, such as a staff change. 2 years ago, nobody cared. Literally no one cared. Then Meghan joined the royal family, and like these channels and Newspapers are just fighting over the smallest little tidbit of information. And, you know, a simple staff change is just causing so much drama. It's annoying. Pianist Mal says, the Seinfeld TV episode called The Puffy Shirt is just like my puffy shirt. You can find it on YouTube. I like the sleeves on this, although I'm going to be very hot because it's all lovely natural polyester. So I'm going to be really hot by the end of this session. I really am. D-Sweet01 says, how does the Commonwealth system work? Are Commonwealth country citizens considered British citizens, pay taxes? No, they are independent nations that are joined together by a Commonwealth of Nations. I'm not really sure how to describe it. So it's typically ex-countries that formed part of the British Empire. So they are countries that were previously under British rule, which voted or declared themselves to be independent. And of course, Britain, you know, doesn't want to keep anybody under British control, British rule, if they don't want to. You know, those days of empire are gone. So instead of, I suppose, losing the countries completely, what was set up under the Queen's father's reign, but obviously seen mostly through Queen Elizabeth's reign, was the idea of the Commonwealth, which is still having that connection, although these countries are completely independent. And of course, the head of the Commonwealth is still the monarch, which obviously the Commonwealth has agreed that Charles will take on that role once the Queen is no more. So it looks likely that probably William will become the head of the Commonwealth too, although all of those countries would have to agree to that as well. It's not an automatic role. But no, those countries do not pay taxes, but we have a close bond. And of course, there is the heads of government meeting, the Commonwealth heads of government meeting, which happens, and lots of shared values and interests and trade can go on. So it's a really good club to be a part of, and it kind of keeps the empire together without it being an empire. You know, those nations are completely independent, such as, you know, Canada. I mean, nobody thinks Canada as being under anyone's control other than Canadian. Australia, nobody thinks of Australia being anything other than under Australian control. But, you know, they are part of the Commonwealth. And of course, the Queen is head of state there. So yeah, it's just like a big club that's good to be a part of. Where do you get information about future engagements, visits of the royal family? Well, they tend to update them on the calendar on their British royal.ac website, the official royal website. There is a calendar which you can check. However, if you do check it, not all engagements are put on. I've checked a few times for the Cambridges and the Sussexes, and you don't often find an entry until you check afterwards the court circular, which lists all of the engagements which have already been carried out. The best place to actually check is on Twitter, because they announce the engagements. Sometimes you get a really good advance notice, and sometimes you don't get hardly any at all. Oh, I could be the Scarlet Pimpernel. Maybe. Loretta Pugh says, heaven help me, this is funny. Loved the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Loved the rhyme. Honour to William and Kate. Prayers and thoughts to all. Pray they become very close at this time. I'm sure they are. And we'll see, I'm sure it is a big display of unity, because there isn't anything else going on the Commonwealth Day service. Mary Brunn says, what will the Queen and Catherine be doing together? Well, I did write down a little bit of information on this. So, the Queen and Catherine, it is the first time they have had a joint engagement since 2012. They will be going to King's College London to reopen a Grade 2 listed building called Bush House. And that is literally all we know. So it's something to look forward to. In fact, I'm not even entirely sure on the date. It just said, what I read was just it's going to happen sometime this month. So sometime in March, we will get that engagement with the Queen, which I'm sure will be a lovely occasion. Miss Burgess says, Yum, I had an avocado for my supper. Meghan, I'm having none of your avocado on toast. Thank you very much. D. Walt says, yes, banana bread. I'm all for your banana bread, though, and your chicken. Professor X says, Harry will be the next head of the Commonwealth after Charles. No, it's got to be the monarch. It has to be the monarch. Sorry. Mrs. BSN says, I would go to work for the Sussexes. I will eat the avocado on toast too. Oh, that's a sacrifice. Anything but the avocado. Do you know, I had one once, and I don't know what I was expecting, but it just tasted vile. Ugh. Laura says, yum, I tried avocado and toast, and it's really very good. Loretta Pugh says, banana cake and tea. Actually, I make the best. Send me the banana cakes. Oh, Dee Dee's having avocado on salad. Rita Bolly says, I think it was banana bread that she made in Australia. I think it was too, because I remember thinking it looked very nice and I'd like some. Mike says, tuck the cravat into my waistcoat. I can't because it's a... Maybe I can, I don't know. Hang on. Oh my goodness, right, this is... It's like I'm having a wardrobe malfunction. No, I can't. It's going to have to stay out. I'll have it like a big bow, like little Bo Peep. I like little Bo Peep with my sheep tonight. BD says, are the Sussex's staff and the Cambridge's staff paid to fame? What are we meaning by that? Peter Clark says, I think this will settle Meghan, this new role, and baby will make it a handful. What do you mean it will settle Meghan? I mean, I agree it's a big role, but it's one that she can undertake with Harry. So, of course, when Harry goes abroad to visit these countries in capacity as president of the Commonwealth Trust, Meghan won't just be there as his wife, as a hanger-on, so to speak, not just there to look pretty. She will actually have a role. She'll be able to give speeches and all that kind of thing, you know, in her capacity as vice president. So, you know, I think it's a good way of giving her her role and something that they can do and embark on together as a couple. So I think, you know, she'll be sharing the workload, definitely. Professor X says the press are fighting on info and nitpicking because they've been shut out by the Sussexes. I'm just fed up of every little teensy detail that is actually really insignificant is being turned into a big hoo-ha. Mrs. BSN says, thank you for saying it about nitpicking with the staff changes. Oh, and I'm matching you in headwear. You're wearing your tiara too. Oh, congratulations. I'm glad you're wearing it. Every occasion is a tiara occasion. Magna says, interesting tidbit that Catherine and Meghan both have beautiful handwriting calligraphy. I'm not sure I've seen an example of Catherine's handwriting. Maybe I have. But certainly I've seen Meghan's and it is beautiful. I wish mine was as nice with my pen. I have a nice pen. I'm sure you saw it in my weekly vlog for Christmas. I do have a nice fountain pen. I couldn't think of the word then, fountain pen. But my writing is not as good. Meghan, no avocados, but I will have banana bread and calligraphy lessons. Thank you. Mike says, spot on with your description of the Commonwealth. Thank you. It is quite a hard concept to explain, really. It's more of a feeling, I think, than necessarily a physical thing. Rita says, you can see how much weight you've lost by your outfit. Well, yeah, I wore this for Halloween, and I could probably, like, take it in. Look at that slim waist. Who is she? Who is she? Martin Gahan says, I like the Irish flag. It's the first time I've been able to use it since obviously something Irish has happened, because of course Charles and Camilla attended a reception to celebrate links. Sandra says, Elliot, okay, I don't know whether I got this right or wrong in my video, but is it WE Day or We Day? I wasn't quite sure. Anyway, Elliot, in We Day, WE Day event, Harry to Meghan's haters by saying his wife's favourite quote by Martin Luther King, as darkness can't drive, darkness only love can do. Hate can't drive out, hate only love can do. Yes, I mean, definitely, if you listen to Harry's speech on We Day, WE Day, you will see Meghan's handprints all over it. Her handwritten handprints are all over that speech. Definitely, Meghan had a big, big, big hand in that speech. She was definitely, I think, the power behind that speech. You could just tell. However, Harry delivered it impeccably. I mean, he was amazing. He definitely upped his game with his speeches. He had memorized it pretty much word for word. There was a tiny little bit of ad-libbing, but if you look at the actual written script as to what he actually spoke, it was almost identical. So he had spent a lot of time memorizing that speech, no doubt with the help of Meghan. I think Meghan also, like I said, had a lot to say behind the scenes with that speech. So I think I see that pretty much as a team effort. That was definitely a team effort on their part. And of course, Meghan, when she attended the panel discussion, she said about being a feminist, when she was asked about being a feminist on the panel, that, you know, men should also be a part of the conversation. And I think that was a very important thing to say. D. Walt says, thank you. Team Sussex will probably have many more changes as people move on with their individual lives. I have enjoyed watching Amy Pickerel as she is always smiling. People come and go. Sandra says, it's because salacious news means revenue to the rags. That is true. And I agree, they cash in on Meghan. Blessings always says, not to be rude, but do you really understand the sentiments of the Commonwealth towards British royalty? They love Harry and Meghan, but who or how will the British royal family status be cemented? But I think it already has been cemented. It's been cemented over the entire Queen's reign. And of course, Prince Charles has had a tremendous contribution towards the Commonwealth, so much so that the Commonwealth nations unilaterally, universally accepted him as the next head of the Commonwealth. So regardless of Harry and Meghan, I think that relationship has already been cemented via the Queen's contribution and Prince Charles's contribution. And I think it will only grow stronger with Harry and Meghan, and of course William and Catherine too, if that's what you meant by your question. Ali Sheedy says, love your chats, full of great and positive info. You are more than welcome. And Noah says, Commonwealth citizens can vote in all elections in the UK. Of course, there are some Commonwealth citizens who have qualified to be British citizens. Some Commonwealth countries allow dual citizenship. That is true, of course, depending, of course, on the country. And we have had quite a lot of Commonwealth immigration into the country. Peter Clark says, Aussie is different from New Zealand, but I'm not sure, as New Zealand was formed under New South Wales. We used before the EU to have guaranteed produce exchange. I'm not terribly sure on that. BD says, are the Sussex's staff and Cambridge staff, do they make the same wages? I'm not entirely sure on wages, but I would imagine there is a standard wage for the same kind of job within the royal family. Margot says, I have heard that the Queen has considerable residual constitutional powers and could actually rule instead of reign if she exercised them, all in this case. I don't think so, because they went independent. I'm talking about the Commonwealth countries that went completely independent and don't have the Queen as head. I'm not entirely sure whether she could. Even if she could, she wouldn't. But no, I think once a country has become independent, even if the Queen is technically still the head of state, I don't think she could technically take back control. That would be interesting. Wouldn't it be interesting if she did? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? My goodness. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure on the constitutional powers in that regard. That would require a little bit of research on my part. Mary Brunn says, what is going on with the Queen and Catherine? They are having a joint engagement sometime this month to open a restored Grade 2 listed building. I agree with Inga. People often use high-profile jobs as stepping stones to other opportunities. And if you work for a royal, certainly with butlers and household staff, it gives you that gravitas to go and work for millionaires, billionaires, Russian oligarchs, Saudi Arabian princes. You know, everyone's clamoring to get someone who's had experience within the royal household. Vinnie Blair says, I don't see the Commonwealth giving up the Sussexes for the Cambridges. I'm not quite sure they'll have much choice in that one, unless they don't want the head of the Commonwealth to be the monarch. Biz Burgess says, here in Canada, our taxes pay for royal visits as well as the Queen's representatives here in Canada, i.e. house, salary and travel. Well, in terms of royal visits, it's the same for any country that any diplomat makes. So, for example, if Donald Trump was to have a presidential visit to the UK, a formal visit, then obviously it would be the UK that would pay the expenses of that visit within the UK. So it doesn't matter whether you are a member of the royal family or not. If you are a visiting head of state from any other country around the world, that cost is usually, that net cost is usually met by the host nation, depending, obviously, regardless of who or what it is. But yes, obviously, the governor generals, for example, for countries that have a governor general, that would be met by those countries' taxes. Will I still be covering Sophie Wessex's engagements? Yes. I've just had a bit of a nice relaxing day today. Last week, well, this week was really, really busy. So I will be catching up with any missed engagements. Joan Gordon says, I come from Dominican and we were under British rule, but we are independent, but we still look the British as a motherland. Like in natural disasters, we look to Britain for help. That's kind of what I was saying with that kind of feeling. And also, I think Britain, when a lot of the Commonwealth nations became independent, I don't really think it was Britain's attitude to say, there you go, you want to be independent, you're on your own, goodbye. It wasn't that kind of thing. It was a, you know, we want to try and help you to be if you're going to be independent, we want you to be successful. And, you know, as you're part of the Commonwealth, it's in all of our shared interests for you to be successful as an independent nation. And we want that to foster that good relationship between the countries. And I think that's what has generally happened all the way through. Martin Gahan says, PBS America are meant to be showing Prince, Son and Heir Charles on 24th of March 2019. Well, there you go, if you have access to PBS in America. Jeff says, does anyone believe this story about Meghan wanting to wear the large tiara for a wedding? No. No, 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 no. Where's my fan flap? That tiara story is old and as fake as anything. It's as fake as a leprechaun's pot of gold. My goodness. No, Meghan did not want to wear one of the Queen's big tiaras. The Queen obviously sent a selection of tiaras that were likely to be suitable for the style of the dress. And Harry, Meghan and the Queen looked over that selection and decided, in fact, I think Harry did reveal that they all felt that the Queen Mary's diamond bandeau was the best match for the dress. So there was no big hoo-ha drama about Meghan wanting any other tiara than the one that she got. PM Smile says, a reminder to you, Canada's clocks spring ahead. And mine, yes, ours don't in the UK yet. Yes, maybe I should do another video on what the Queen's powers are within the Commonwealth. That would be a good video, wouldn't it? JS Godmother says, when will the Queen give Catherine a tiara? She already has. She's given her two which I have replicas of. The one I'm wearing now, the Cambridge Lover's Knot on long-term loan, and the papyrus or scroll tiara, which I also have, which is one with pearls on the top. She also has that on long-term loan. Or are you meaning Meghan? Rita says the Queen and Catherine have a joint engagement to King's College. They do indeed. Vinnie Blair says, I'm not going to be happy if Meghan isn't wearing the snowflake brooch on Monday at Canada House. It would be nice. She could also be wearing the maple. Sanju says, if Duchess Meghan has a dual citizenship, she or her children can run for the president of the USA. That may be a technicality, but probably not. Janet Fox says, random comment, but perfect gender fluid name for baby Sussex Spencer. The gender fluid thing is false. In fact, Meghan did say on the panel discussion that if anything, she wants to raise her baby a feminist. So she definitely said feminist, but the gender fluid thing is a no. In fact, the palace poo-pooed it and said it was fake. Professor X says, no, the next head of the Commonwealth doesn't have to be the monarch. It doesn't have to be, but I think it's very likely it will be. EAO loves avocados. Hashtag hate avocados. JJMV Ball says, could Harry or Meghan have a tiara designed and commissioned for Meghan? They could, if they met the cost privately, or if they used jewels from Diana's collection or jewels that were donated by the Queen. That is indeed possible. Natalie Jean says, no, it doesn't have to be the monarch. You overestimate Commonwealth vote when it comes to the British monarchy. Someone else from another Commonwealth country can be elected. I didn't say they couldn't. I said that they universally accepted Charles. Obviously, the next one that would probably be up for that vote would be William. And again, I agree, they could either say yes or they could say no. But I feel it very unlikely that they would say no. Unless something catastrophically goes wrong in the meantime. Mary Brunn says, I realised that baby Sussex will be able to trace ancestry on one side to 1,000 years of monarchy and slavery on the other side. Yes, but let's not forget, even on the royal side, we have slavery in the UK too. Let's not forget all the times that native Britons were invaded by Romans and the Vikings and all these kinds of things. Native Britons have been enslaved too. It's just in Britain's very, 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 very distant past. What about all the rape and pillaging that went on? Mammy Kobe says, hello, Elliot. Just returned from a beautiful trip to the UK. Had a wonderful avocado on toast with pomegranate seeds and watermelon chunks. Not feeling the avocado, sorry. Guacamole. Guacamole, guacamole. Is there that song about guacamole on the internet? Okay, that's the only thing I like about guacamole is that song. Cecilia says, I think Meghan is doing a marvellous job in her role with or without Harry, but I always love to see them together. When will Meghan start her maternity leave? There is no official date, but I'm estimating it will be the end of this month. Margaret says, I love the little brooch Meghan got as Vice President. Well, a role is nothing without a badge. Red Amalgam says, what would happen to Meghan's role as Vice President and in the royal family in general in the unfortunate and terrible event that Harry passes? Well, it's an independent role. That's a bit of a question. It's an independent role. It's not actually connected to Harry's, so she would retain vice president until she was otherwise not required to do so. Lou FR says, are all the tiaras from the royal family history, or can they be made? They can most certainly be made. And in fact, the Duchess of York's tiara, her wedding tiara, was made. Mike says, can I ask if you think that the press only discuss bad news? And you are a lover of pens. They don't only discuss bad news, but I think secretly they like a little bit of bad news. Sandra T says, all of a sudden this week, the press seem to like Meghan, but do they have to list the price on all her clothes? At least not her undies yet. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad we can't see them for a start. I think they feel they have to. Personally, I have to say, it doesn't interest me, the cost of it. Sometimes I will say the designer's name if I am particularly impressed with a dress. But to be honest, I prefer to concentrate on the engagement and what goes on. I'm not unduly concerned with designer or cost of dress. Like I say, unless I am absolutely bowled away by the dress, then I'm not terribly bothered. I was bowled away by the designers and the outfits worn on the Moroccan tour. I think she looked really stunning. But I have to say, I'm not terribly bothered about how much it costs, because either way, I can't afford them. No, I don't remember. Okay, I can't recall Catherine's handwriting. I must have seen her name signed, obviously, in guest book photographs, but I can't picture it. Peter Clark says it's hard to get fountain pens in New Zealand. Is it? Catherine says, how long can Harry go on maternity? Can he take 2 months? I mean, technically, he can take as long as he wants. But I imagine he may take the standard 2 weeks and then get back to work. Sonya Boyes says, I absolutely loved the footage of when Harry got Meghan on stage after his speech. You could see the love between them. Meghan looked young and bashful as she snuggled into his shoulders. And the crowd noise, the cheers. Am I wearing a corset? No. You mean to get my waist this tiny? But it's not really tiny, but it's not massive. Lady Buckingham says, and next week use the Irish flag for St. Patrick's Day. Of course, I will. And Dawn says it's we day, as in we are going to. So it's we day. We. Vinny Blair says, no, the press are fighting for details because they are competing in seconds. Some are trying to destroy Meghan, so we'll use anything. It has nothing to do with being shut out by the Sussexes. Who knows what their agenda is? I don't think they even know. They even sometimes infight between themselves. Thank you to Laura for the comments. Okay. Dee Dee says, I think Harry was using a teleprompter, not memorized speech. He does for some Invictus Game speeches. I cannot comment on that because I do not know. Live, Love and Laugh says, Harry meant it when he said he's upping his game. They both worked on that speech and how he delivered it superbly. That is what I think, personally. JMV Ball says, I can't wait for the informal Sussex family portrait with Harry, Meghan, baby Sussex and the 2 dogs. We so love that. We saw a dog when Harry flew to Birmingham this week. We saw a dog around the helicopter. It was too far off for me to tell whether it was a beagle guy or whether it was a new dog. I couldn't quite make it out. So, and I'm not terribly up on dog breeds. I have to say, I'm more cats. If it was a Maine Coon he'd had, or a British short hair, I would know the difference. But I'm terribly not that really good on dogs. So, if you know, could you tell, was it Guy the Beagle or was it New Dog? And by the way, New Dog is not called Oz. I think Oz was a fake story. But I'm hoping it was New Dog that we got to see running around very excitedly. Alexander says, do you think we can see Duchess Meghan meeting Queen Letizia of Spain this Wednesday. We will see what we can say. Professor X says, baby Sussex will not be an American unless Meghan and Harry file paperwork with the US government. I'm not terribly sure on immigration rules with the US. Rita Brolly says, do you think if I send it a congratulations for being made vice president, that you would get a reply? Most likely. Give it a go. D. Walt says, feminism is about equality, not being feminine. Men can be feminists in supporting equal pay and seeing women as equal human beings. Exactly. And Meghan was saying that basically, you know, it benefits everyone for everyone to be equal. And I quite agree. What tiara am I wearing? It is the Cambridge Lovers Knot today. Okay, thank you to the mods for modding. I can see lots of modding going on. Diane says, I'd like to watch the entire panel discussion from yesterday at King's College. It is on YouTube somewhere. I think if you actually go to the I can't remember. It's on there somewhere. If you go on Twitter to their Twitter page, they had a link to it on there. Bia Panda says, for the Queen to take control, the people and the government of that country would have to vote to become non-republic. So there you go. So I think once you become independent, you can't then be taken over because you wouldn't be independent, would you? You would have to vote. I think this is probably true. I think you would have to vote to then become non-independent again, which is probably not going to happen. Mary Brunn says, I have been fascinated with the royal family since I was a teenager. I had such a crush on Prince Andrew. He was hot. I remember his nickname was Randy Andy. Didn't know what Randy. I do now. There we go. Ain't That says, many people don't know that the UK governs under two constitutions. One pertaining to the Prime Minister and Parliament, who answer to the people, and one pertaining to the monarch, who answers only to God. That is indeed true. Mrs. VSN says, now, once the Duchess becomes a British citizen in 5 years, that will all change for her. I'm sure her child will give up his or her US rights too. I'm not entirely sure, but I imagine child would be brought up mainly British. Cheryl says, please do another history vlog. You have a great voice and love British history. I do indeed. And I would like to, very much. In fact, I'm thinking my next one may be something Tudor. Margaret says, what are my favourite hidden tiaras that you'd like to see on the royal heads again? One of mine is a tech crescent. Yes, and the rose tiara as well. That's one that I would love to see. But yes, I mean, you're right in saying hidden, because there are probably lots of tiaras that we don't even know about, such as, I mean, who would have thought of Queen Mary's diamond bandeau for Meghan's wedding, or even the emerald one that we saw for Eugenie's wedding. I mean, you know, they were not on anybody's list of tiaras that could be selected. So who knows what they have actually got hidden. SB says, I watched a video that she was stripped from her Duchess title discreetly. That's why she ran to New York for legal advice. Really? Here it comes. I'm saying no more on that one. I agree, the young royals bring a lot of attention to the countries they visit. Sheila says, yes, the Commonwealth countries could invite Harry if they wanted. He can also decline. They can technically invite anyone. I'm not saying they can't. But it's highly unlikely that they would not choose the monarch and keep that succession going. I think it's very, very unlikely. Possible, but very unlikely. Professor X says, unless baby Sussex is born on American soil, he or she is not an automatic citizen. Meghan and Harry would have to register the birth with the US government to be recognised as a citizen. Again, I am not entirely up on US citizenship procedures. I agree with Mike. We should see people as individuals. I value diversity and foster equality. I love learning and listening to their stories. My motto is walk in another person's shoes. Yes, please click like if you're watching. Dee says, some here are confused about Harry and Meghan's roles within the Commonwealth. They are President and Vice President of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. Queen is still the head of the Commonwealth, then Charles and William. Yes, but in terms of the Commonwealth Trust, which is separate to the Commonwealth, the Queen is patron of that, then Harry is President and Meghan is Vice President. Mary Brunn says, I live in Granada and they have the Queen on their money. Yes, many do. Go-Getter says, I read in an American article that the Queen is so pleased with Meghan that she may break a rule and make Harry and Meghan's baby a prince or a princess. Is that possible? It is possible. They did that for George and Charlotte. You know, if the Queen hadn't issued new letters patent, then George and Charlotte wouldn't have been princes and princesses. So it's possible that she could do it for Harry and Meghan too. However, I've got a feeling she won't. And I've got a feeling she won't. Nothing to do with Harry and Meghan, nothing to do with not liking them. I just think she'll let the natural order play out. And that is that once she is no more and Charles is king, they will be HRH and princes and princesses anyway. She could choose to make them princes and princesses and HRHs. I've got a feeling she won't. There's no hint that she's going to change the rules yet. It's possible, but I've just got a feeling she might not. Biz Burgess says, Meghan looks stunning in the tiara she wore on her wedding day. Martin Gahan says, use the Irish flag in your weekly blog on Sunday the 17th of March. Mike says, I am so pleased I came across this chat. You are a great guy. Keep up the awesome work. Please excuse the Scouser. You are more than welcome. You are perfectly entitled to be Scouse in my chat. Permittable. Anna Raju says, are the stories of the Duchess of Cambridge being pregnant with a fourth child true? Or does it deserve a black fan flap? Well, I'm going to give it a black fan flap for one reason. And that is her terrible morning sickness. We know pretty much, I think, within a week of her being pregnant, that she gets this terrible morning sickness. So if she had been pregnant, I think we would know by now because of her terrible morning sickness. However, do I think she will go on and have a fourth child? I do, but not yet. Congratulations, you are over 600 in the room. I am indeed. Thank you so much to the 600 for watching. Laurie Clark says, do you know if they have a computerized inventory for royal jewelry? When one wants to borrow something, do they have to look through a book or some sort of online? Just curious. Well, that is a very interesting point, and one that I would like to know myself. They do have an inventory. Queen Mary had a handwritten, I think she had a photographic inventory made too, which I think was continued on. But now, obviously, we have computers. I would imagine everything had been listed properly on a computer system. But of course, the curator of the Queen's jewels, not the crown jewels, but her private jewelry, at the moment is Angela Kelly, a head in-house clothes designer, and she kind of gets all the jewels ready for the Queen. I don't know what system she uses. In Angela Kelly's book, she didn't go that far as to explain the system of, for example, booking them in or out. We do know that some personal jewels are on long-term loan. For example, Camilla has the Boucheron honeycomb tiara and various others that the Queen Mother used to wear on long-term loan. Catherine has the Cambridge Lover's Knot and the papyrus. We don't know yet which tiara Meghan has likely on loan. I'd imagine she would do for the next occasion she has one. Will it be the Queen Mary's Diamond Bando? Will it be something else? Who knows? But I would love to know what system they use for example, booking them in and out. It would be interesting to know. Fabulous123 says, I hope your channel continues to grow. You are such a lovely person. You really make us laugh. Your fan flaps. Potential sausage poisoning. Glad you are okay. Yeah, oh my goodness. Go to my other channel and check out the sausage poisoning gate. Where did I get this tiara? Amazon. Who knew? Kimberly says, well, if Charles passes before becoming king, I think if the Queen doesn't give Harry's kids a title, they wouldn't get one. That is true. However, let's not forget, Harry's brother, William, would be king. So it would be in William's gift to issue letters patent, to grant them titles, should Harry and Meghan want them to have them. JCS Godmother says, I was asking when the Queen will give Catherine a tiara as opposed to loan a tiara. Well, I think I've kind of just answered that one. Nathetus says, I heard that since Meghan is still an American citizen, US also can help in security when she travels to other countries. Again, that may be possible in Meghan's case. PM Small says, likely the usual made-up news. I read that Meghan and Harry will hire a male nanny. Not buying that. What about you? Okay. Catherine has a special sort of nanny, a Norwood nanny. And Norwood nannies are the ones that wear the nice sort of brown, khaki-coloured outfit with a nice hat. And they have in recent years been taking on male nannies. So is it possible that she may hire a male nanny? It's possible. If she has a Norwood nanny. She may also just choose a male nanny in general. But again, we don't know. It is speculation, but I'm not going to give it a black fan flap because it could be possible, but we just don't know. Floss and Mog Payne says, Countess of Wessex Sophie gave a great speech on International Women's Day, very focused on women's needs. Yes, she did, and I will hopefully be making that, what she did on International Women's Day, into a video. She did something earlier in the day too, and then also hosted a reception at the palace. Mike says, I suggest a visit to Liverpool Maritime Slavery Museum. I would love to go to all kinds of different places. Mrs. Whoever Whatever says, journalist who wrote the gender fluid article is trying to twist Meghan's words to make her article true. Is pretending gender neutrality meant gender equality. Yeah, I'm not buying it either. Mrs. VSN says, the Queen asked the Commonwealth heads if Charles could succeed her, and they agreed. I believe it was a respect level. They have not honoured Charles in the same manner when it comes to times of change. They may. I don't believe they would have accepted him if they really didn't want him. Josephine says, you're an absolute gem at all times. More so now, Ari, your comment on slavery. First time to hear the Guacamole song. Google it. I mean, YouTube it. The Guacamole song. Oh, she's probably gone to make some guacamole. No guacamole. I'm banning guacamole. Moderators, ban all avocado sentences. And guacamole. Rita says there should be a new tiara made for the Duchess of Sussex. It's up to them. Floss and Mug Payne said, did you get a quill pen at the Victorian town? I wanted it. But I didn't want it sticking out of my bag because there was children following me around saying, it's a YouTuber, it's a YouTuber. So yeah. What did my £5 go on? I didn't spend it in the end. I'm afraid there wasn't really anything that I wanted. Okay. Patricia Nixon is advising me to Google Catherine's handwriting. I will have to. I just can't recall it. I probably have seen it, of course. I've seen her sign her name, but I can't recall her handwriting. Rini says, hello. Congratulations for Duchess of Sussex's and family. I like your dress you wear today. It is rather lovely, with the big poofy sleeves. Gregory C says, I hope you got my gift. You rock. Ooh, now, I did open some gifts for my weekly vlog, but I don't know which one may have been yours. So if it was yours and I got it, thank you so much. In fact, there possibly was there one that didn't have a name. Okay, if it was yours, thank you so much, Gregory. And I'm going to give you a yellow fan flap. So thank you so much to you. Everyone will see what it is. I'm not going to give the game away, but if you watch my weekly vlog out tomorrow, you'll see what it is. Okay, just skipping through a few little bits. When is the dual engagement for Meghan and the Queen? All I got was, when I was researching it, I didn't get a date. All I got was sometime this month. So I can't give you an exact date, sorry. I'd like one myself. If anyone's seen the date out there that I may have not noticed, tell me. Why am I not drinking tea? Well, ever since I had the tonsillitis, I've just wanted water for that. Although I do drink tea in the daytime, of course I do. Okay, Vinny Blair says there is one that's easily Googleable. I will Google it. Kay Brown says, you are a gem. I think you can formally venture into journalism. I would like to, but I wouldn't be one of those hacks that ponders to what the publication wants. I would say what I think. Biz Burgess read The Guy the Beagles book. It is cute. It's a cute little story. Cherie says, it was the new dog. It looked like a Cocker Spaniel. Sorry if I'm skipping a few. Live, Love and Laugh says, isn't the new dog a Black Labrador? I don't think anyone's seen it unless it was that dog that was by the helicopter. Nora says, enjoyed your coverage of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's visit to Blackpool. They're always great and so engaged with each other, as well as the people who come to see them. Yes, it was a very important visit. Yes, we got to see them in the fancy pants tower ballroom where all the lovely ballroom dancing goes on. But we also got a chance to see the really good work that's going on in the town to help regenerate the houses. Some of the houses, of course, some of the housing stock is a little bit dilapidated, and we got to see an example of a home before and then a home after, and the Cambridges got to chat to a resident who had benefited from that particular charity. So I think it was a very good visit, and to see the regeneration work that is going on supported by the charity. Yes, Guy is a beagle. Oh, Bassani Gold says, the press are calling Harry a hypocrite for using the helicopter. He and Meghan always use the train, but the trains are always delayed. Well, the palace always make... By the way, there is only one royal helicopter, and they all share it between them. And there will be like a booking booking thing for that. If the helicopter is not available, then another one isn't used. There is only one royal helicopter. And the palace are very economical in what they do. They will only allow the royal to use it if it is the best form of transportation for that particular job. And obviously it was felt that economically and financially, the helicopter was better and more cost effective to get Harry from London to Birmingham, which is quite far, in one day to be able to meet those visits. Now, think about it. Economically, cost-wise, it would have probably taken a lot more to have housed him in a hotel, for example, either pre the visit or post the visit, than it would to have flown him. So they would have looked at all different things and decided that that was the most cost-effective way of doing it. But I know what they're saying about the carbon footprint, but hey, you know, you can't have it always. If you want a royal that's going to do different royal engagements here, there and everywhere, all across the country, there has to be the most effective forms of transport. And that was decided on that day to be the best form of transport to get him to and from that engagement. Thank you to Anoa, who has posted the link to the full panel discussion. Okay. Thank you for Margot for explaining a little bit more about the national, about being born a US citizen abroad. Mrs. VSN says, what is the piece of Diana's jewellery that you are hoping to see the Duchess of Cambridge or Sussex wear? Of course, the brooch that looks very similar to this, that's on a necklace. You know, the 7-strand pearl choker with the brooch that looks very similar to this one. Who isn't looking forward to seeing that one? But also, I think Diana had quite a lot of what we would call costume jewellery. Who remembers that little snake that she had, that snake brooch that she wore? I think it was on a suit. I think she wore it with a suit. I would love to see that on Meghan. Carolyn says, why can't Catherine dress princess in designer dresses? Victoria and Albert Museum would be great to see. She can dress them in whatever dress she wants. Arnold Sanders said Queen Charlotte had Frogmore built. Yes, it was a royal retreat. Rhonda says wanted to start again. Rhonda says, I think I need some water. Wanted to say I enjoyed the Victorian village vlogs you posted this week. Thank you. I was hoping that people would like them. Stephanie says Sophie Wessex's speech on International Women's Day was exceptional. Like I say, I'm hoping to post some of that. Biz Burgess says, I love that all-knowing smug look when you flap a black fan flap. It's got to be done. Carolyn says they could keep the dress and hand them down. I'm trying to learn Irish crochet. It would be beautiful. Nefeta says, I wish the press would leave their age out. Yeah, it is a bit tiresome. Oh, I had a donation of $2, but I don't know who it was from. So fan flap, if you donated, I think Jamie removed the comment. Don't know who you are, but thank you. Yes, meat mallet for that one. Alice Hart says, thanks for talking about Meghan's staff changes because the haters will turn it against my dearest sweetie Meghan. Well, like I say, they're picking over bones. MK Venner, I will trust your opinion. You say the dog looked like a Springer Spaniel to me. Oh, I will remember to bring out the fake news goggles. Oh, Corlis Monica says, are the Cambridges and Sussexes going to have separate social media accounts? I don't think so. Henpal says, thank you for your clear input of the royals. You bring such clarity. At times it's difficult to know the truth. Didi says, can't wait to watch your Bliss Hill Victorian Town videos later when I return from a dinner party. I'm really interested. They're in parts 1 and 2. So make sure you watch the first part first. No, Catherine's not pregnant at the minute. Yes, it is the Irish flag behind me. Did I get this shirt at the Victorian Town? No, it was a cheap polyester costume from Amazon. I actually bought it for my Halloween costume when I wore the Georgian wig. Yeah, sausage poison. If you want to see me having a sausage breakdown, Go to my other channel, Elliot's British Life, and you will see the live chat I had when I thought I was poisoned by a sausage. You couldn't make it up. Red Almagam says, I wouldn't be surprised if for the sake of publicity and making the birth of the baby create more buzz, that the Queen might go ahead and give the baby a prince or princess title. I've got a feeling she won't. I mean, I would like it if she did, but I've just got a feeling she won't. I cannot say why. I just have a feeling she won't. She may, but I've got a feeling she won't. Vinnie Blair says, people are stupid. Harry did not take the helicopter to go to a ball game or go to a personal business. He was doing the people's business working, which is kind of what I said. eBay and Etsy apparently have great tiaras. There you go. There are some really expensive ones that are like £300 to £400, which are pretty much exact replicas. I mean, exact replicas. I would love to start collecting some of those. No, I can't imagine trying to keep track of all that jewellery and clothes back in the day. Ricky Field says, you look fabulous. Well, thank you so much. When Duchess Meghan's royal appointments go well, she gets nothing but flack. Why is that continuing? This is not true for Duchess Catherine. Seems she's being run out of the UK. Well, I've had this discussion on comments many times with people. And one of the things that I really need the guts to do this. But one thing I would love to do is to go to my local shopping centre and just video, well, have a pre-made list of questions about what people think about Meghan and the royal family in general. And I would love to just have the guts to walk up to people, random people, with my camera and say, can I film you for YouTube? I'm making a YouTube video. What do you think about Meghan? And I would love to see just random people's opinions on Meghan. And I bet that nobody is going to say anything negative about her, because I don't get on the ground when I talk to people, when I meet people, nobody says anything bad about Meghan. I do think it's all press noise. And Meghan made the comment in the panel discussion when she was asked about social media, about checking Twitter, and she laughed and she said, no, I don't check Twitter. It's all noise. And I think that is true. Meghan said it better than anyone else. It's noise. It's all press babble noise. I don't think it is the true reflection of the people on the ground. I've always thought that. I would love to have the guts to go up to people. I might just do it. I don't know. I would love to make a video and just ask people what they think about Meghan. And that I hopefully would just prove that it's press noise and not what people actually think. Because I really don't think people on the ground have anything but nice things to say about Meghan. We see the crowd, evidence. We see the crowds gathered outside her engagements, cheering. When she gets up to make a speech, we hear nothing but cheers. I don't see it on the ground. I don't see the hate. I don't see the racism on the ground. What I do see is a lot of press noise. What I do see is the press creating a platform that can attract the racists to that platform, that gives them a voice. But I don't see the general people in Britain hating on Meghan. I just don't. And I maintain that all the way through. And I would love to make a video just walking up to people and asking them. Mary Lou says, enjoyed the Victorian Village vlogs and hope to see many more. Also, are you sure you're sure wearing your hard work at the gym well? Well, thank you so much. When I start making muscle poses, that's the time to stop me. I am sure there is an index of clothes. That's it, Norland. Did I say Norwood? I meant Norland. Ergis says, hi Elliot, I saw on a Canadian news channel, The National, saying war on words, etc. Research into who is behind the nastiness on social media, a greater amount was located in the USA. There's also a big thing in the UK right now saying that a lot of negative, in particular Twitter was mentioned, in particular Twitter social media accounts are actually coming from Russia. Who knew? Are you surprised at that? But a lot of these accounts, these troll accounts, are actually being traced back to Russia, apparently. Are we surprised at that? Oh, we have a $10 donation from Aunties D's Organised Randomness. I love the name. Thank you so much for supporting the channel through Super Chat. You get a fan flap. Thank you so much. But no, I am not surprised to hear that a lot of the nastiness is coming from Russia. Obviously, perhaps to upset the balance. And I did also say a long time ago that I did think a lot of the hate wasn't from the UK. M. Davies says, I'm wondering how long, if at all, it might take for Meghan to get a royal family order from Queen Elizabeth II. It took Kate ages. I mean, everything seems to have been fast-tracked for Meghan, so who knows on that score. I agree, Sophie does not get enough credit. Yes, it was Norland Nannies, not Norwood. And they do have strange uniforms. Okay. Oh, thank goodness that the guacamole and avocado comments have been banned. I don't want to see avocado on my screen. Okay, I'm just skipping through a few. I'm sorry if... Okay, Annette says, it seems like there are a lot of new channels. Was this in any way in response to Duchess's negativity? Of course. Oh, I'm not even mentioning that channel. It's still there, so why the shake-up? I think since Meghan... Okay, the landscape on YouTube in terms of royal news has completely changed in the probably 2 years that I've been I've been on YouTube 4 years, but the 2 years I've been properly doing this, the landscape has completely changed. There are so many royal channels, and there are so many completely outright fake royal channels. There are, you know, these channels that completely make up, and they make up everything. And the one that you mentioned in your comment is probably one of the worst in terms of making things up. It's just to get clicks, and it's because people click on it. If you don't click on it, then they eventually will stop. And also, I maintain that, you know, YouTube puts in lots of algorithms to sort out, for example, copyrighted videos. I think they're going to go that way eventually with photos as well. And I think anyone using copyrighted photos will eventually get detected and removed. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of channels eventually that I think will not be there anymore. I hope. Sandra T says, when did Duchess Meghan wear flashy jewellery? It's certainly available to her, but not her style. Did you miss the massive aquamarine ring of Diana's on her finger? I would say that's rather flashy. M. Davies says, Camilla has the tech tiara. No one wears it. Meghan should wear that for a state. I did hear that Camilla had the tech tiara, but I haven't seen her wearing it. But I did hear that she had got it. Okay. I agree we shouldn't compare duchesses. And I agree people shouldn't click on stories that obviously have fake titles. Anna Raju says, could you please do a video on the life of Diana? Would love to learn more about her. I have done some previous videos on Diana. The problem these days are, of course, with copyrighted photos. Most photographs that exist of Diana have some kind of copyright on them. So it's very hard to get photographs. It would have to be like a sit-down discussion type chat about her life, which I can do. Oh, people have found a date, March the 19th. There we go. So the duel, I'm trusting you on this one, March the 19th. Jamie says, you've been on water for so long. I think you should make your pregnancy public. Well, you know. Yes, fake news. Annette says, I keep getting confused over which channels are Kensington channels and which ones are new. I keep falling onto the one called, the Royal Insider one, which has a lot of stupid stories. Okay, the Royal Insider, the TIG, the Light Channel, the Harry and Meghan Markle news, they are all, well, they are all non-official royal channels. I'm not going to call them as fake. A lot of the stories are fake, but they are not official channels. I think there's, yeah, they're completely not. The only ones that are official are, no, there is only one actual royal official channel, and that is the royal family, I think. Oh, but I have a donation, by the way. Hang on. Joanne has donated $20 US. Whom do you think has the matching tech necklace? Isn't seen on Princess Margaret. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Princess Margaret's family inherited it. We'll have to ask Sarah Chateau. Thank you so much for your donation. Going back to the fake channels, there is an official royal channel. I think it's called The Royal Family. Then there is an ITV channel called The Royal Family. It's one or the other way around. But again, the ITV channel is just a news network channel. It's not an official channel. So there is only one actual official monarchy channel. All the others, including my own, are non-official. And some are just downright fake. I have no idea if Meghan will need a C-section. Rita says, I like when the Cambridges got down with the kids in Blackpool. They did indeed. And it's always nice when they interact with young people. I would love another cookbook from Meghan. James says, solving climate change requires everyone's participation, not just Harry. I would agree indeed. And I think the UK as a country is making great strides with combating climate change, which can't be said for every country in the world. And I am not naming names. There are many countries in the world that I don't think are doing enough. They just aren't. I mean, it's true. DD says Kensington Palace must have rented a helicopter for Harry's last visit because his was blue. Oh, yes, you are quite right. The official one is red or maroon. Maybe they did. They would have had to have felt that that was the correct form of transportation to have rented or used in general. Yes, Diana did wear the snake brooch when she met Bryan Adams in Vancouver. And I would love to see Meghan wearing it. And Dan says, I'm delighted to know too that Duchess Meghan does not read the negative press, but she said she does not get to enjoy the positive comments made. She's well grounded, focused, and on point. Well, she's more than welcome to watch this channel because there are many, many good comments, positive comments that she could read. And hopefully I'm not classed as noise. Meghan, I'm not noise. I may not like your avocado on toast, but I am not noise. Bassani Golf says, do William and Harry have to pay inheritance tax on things Princess Diana left them in her will? And yes, they did. They did indeed. And of course, their money was put into a trust until they were old enough. So that would have all have been sorted out at the time when Diana passed in 1997, or very, very close to. Then the remaining money would have been put in trust, which of course has been inherited. Oh, apparently on May the 17th, M. Davis says, there's an auction in Sotheby's, a rare emerald and diamond tiara, formerly of Princess Katharina Henkel von Donnersmarck. I've totally said that wrong. Around 1900. If Meghan wants an emerald tiara, here you go. I don't believe the emerald I don't believe the Emerald story. I really don't. Anyway, but I'm sure she's got access to more than enough jewels should she wish to wear them. Yes, Camilla does wear a pearl choker very similar to Diana's one. I think it's got an amethyst in the middle, or that kind of stone. Thank you to Pamela for your lovely comment. Yes, Harry and Meghan could also decline titles for their children like Princess Anne, if they so wish. I agree, it's a waste of time clicking on fake news. Okay, I'm just skipping through a few. Beverly still says, besides me, what other channels can we trust to give honest information about the royals? Do you know what? That is incredibly difficult. I would only say the actual royal family channel, not, yeah, the actual royal family channel. Every other royal channel that I have come across, I have seen fakery on in some way or form. I think there was... That is a difficult question. One that I cannot answer, I'm afraid. I think they're all rubbish, apart from the official royal family one. Do I have fake news goggles? Yes, I have like little opera glasses. Okay, I'm just skipping through a few. Carol says, I sincerely hope that you start merchandise. I would love some merchandise, but I don't know how to do it because, to be perfectly honest, I don't want to handle, for example, posting things out, returns, handling that money. I would much rather that I design something and then I can give you a link. You can go to a particular company, buy what you want. They send it out. They deal with returns. They deal with the money, and they just give me a percentage. I would much rather do it like that. But I haven't found anywhere that I know of that does that. So if you can help me out, if you can find anywhere that does that, let me know where it is. Jessica says, I agree with you that the press is only making noise to distract the people from the real work of the monarchy. I would agree. PJR says, if anyone has the guts to do that, you do. I would love to see that video. I would love to do it, but it would take a lot of bravery just to walk up to complete strangers with a set of questions and a camera and ask them questions. But I would love to do it. Lots of people saying that it is definitely noise. I would agree. Thank you to Janice Kennedy, who says you're looking rather dashing. Thank you. Okay, thank you to the moderators for moderating. Okay, skipping through a few. EAO says, I wish we saw more of Prince William. Whenever he's out, I do try and bring you lots. He has done quite a few investitures of late. Where did I go? I'm here. Laura says, talking about the channel we were talking about before, agreed, it's a hateful channel and people know it. They simply don't click on it. Then simply don't click on it. It only makes the channel stronger. Don't click. Okay. Catherine White says, someone famous complained that Meghan was making all the other pregnant ladies look bad. What? They complained and she did nothing complain. How is she making other pregnant ladies look bad? Sanju says, what about the royal family? Okay, there's one that's called Royal Family. Hang on, let me just check. Because I'm getting my names mixed up. Oh no, hang on. If I click off this, I'm going to lose my chat. There are two channels that are very similar name. The official Royal Family channel and the Royal Family channel, which is ITV. The ITV one is a news channel. Then there is the proper one run by the monarchy. The ITV one is not official. Sandra T says, I think Harry gave her the big ring as a wedding gift. Has she worn it since? I think we have seen it since. Did we see it since? I think we have on one occasion. Oh, Jamie says the Earl of Snowdon has the tech necklace seen on his wife. Well, there we go. So the tech tiara and necklace are separated. Yes, there are replicas of the aquamarine ring on Amazon as well, actually. Yes, the Commonwealth service will be shown on BBC from 3 p.m. GMT time. Where's the cat? They are asleep. One's out and Molly's in asleep and Rory is out. Dawn can't delete my avocado comment. Okay, I'm just skipping through a few. Yes, the Strathmore Rose tiara could be given on loan. Yes, the official royal family, the official one, has the tick. Thank you for helping me there. Oh, Fazzle Taylor says Teesprings for merchandise. I will screen grab this so that I can look at it for later. Live Love Laugh says, is the Royal Family channel like an official channel? It always ends with the Queen's South African speech. I think that's the ITV one. That's the ITV one. Yes, I agree. A good blog is the Court Jeweler, but they don't have a YouTube channel. Okay, lots of people commenting. Hang on. I'm just skipping through. When is season 3 of The Crown coming out? I would love to know myself. If anyone knows, please do let me know. James says, set up a seller's account on Amazon, send your products to them, and they will ship your products and take a tiny percentage. I have no idea how that works. So what, you get your own stuff and you send it to them? I have no idea how that works. But it's something to certainly consider. Yes, Rory is out having a night on the town with Brian. I agree. Amazon should be paying me for commission for all the free advertising. Okay, and I think I've made it to the bottom of the chat. How are we doing for time? So yes, have I missed anything that I really wanted to talk about today? Let me just go through my list. Okay, the Prince of Wales's 50th investiture party happened this week, where we got to see not all, but lots of members of the royal family. And of course, there were no tiaras. It was a day event, so we didn't get to see any white tie and tiaras, which was a bit of a shame because I would have really liked to have seen it. Camilla, on World Book Day, was reading to children, which I thought was particularly lovely. And of course, she is very into literacy and promoting the power of literacy, in particular with children. So we got to see a good World Book Day. We got to see her reading a book to children, which I think was particularly lovely. Now, Prince Harry did fly off to Berlin this week, and it was regarding something that he's working on as part of the Royal Foundation. We don't know exactly what it is, but he is working on some kind of project, and I'm sure we will find out more about that in due course. Okay, I think I read this out last time, but I wanted to read out a few upcoming dates. So for this week, on March the 11th, Harry and Meghan are attending an event at Canada House to mark the Commonwealth Day 2019. So this is after the Commonwealth Day service. They will be attending an event at Canada House. Thursday, the 14th of March, the Duke of Sussex will join delegates at the Veterans Mental Health Conference at King's College London regarding military health research. And a busy day for the Duchess of Cambridge on, I think it's Tuesday the 12th of March, where she will be visiting the Henry Fawcett Children's Centre for charity Leap Lambeth, which is a parent and infant relationship service, and the charity helps parents and carers. After that, she will move on to the National Portrait Gallery Gala 2019. So there's just a few upcoming events this week to look forward to. Sanju says, the official royal family channel of YouTube only covers the weddings of the royals. No, they do other things as well. They do post other different things. Yeah. Oh, yes. Historic royal palaces. They have a good one. I also like English heritage. They aren't particularly royal, but I like English heritage. And yes, the historic royal palaces is good too. I would agree there. D. Walt says, I think Prince Charles will treat both his sons as equally as he can. Harry will not be left out in the cold when Prince Charles is king. I would agree with that one. Okay. And I think I'm going to leave it here for this week. We have had a fantastic chat. Thank you so much for joining me again for another week. I really do appreciate your support in joining me every week to chat about the royals, and I do hope that you have enjoyed it. I will be back next week, of course, live 10 o'clock GMT, which is British time, on Saturday. Please also join me for my weekly vlog, which will be out tomorrow at 12 a.m. But just keep checking the channel. I will post a video reminder, so you can click on that and you can set your own reminder, and it will tell you what time it premieres in your local area. So please do go and check that out as well. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media. Hit the notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. And also, please do remember to subscribe to the channel. So, from me in Shropshire, mwah, to you all, goodbye.